Today's video lesson is on cluster charts, also known as footprint charts. In this video, I'll break down why traders use cluster charts, the basic anatomy, and some customizable settings and features that can be found on Optimus Flow platform. So let's get right into it. A cluster chart is a volume analysis tool whereby we can see inside a candle's buying and selling volume at each price point. It provides a very high level of precision, unlike other analysis tools like volume profile or a time histogram that just shows total volume. This shows precise, exacting volume at each tick level. For this video, we'll be looking at the ES futures on a 1-minute chart. I'll give you a moment to familiarize yourself with the layout. As you can see here, just like the 1-minute bar chart on the right, we have price on the y-axis and time on the x-axis. As you can see here, the time is in 1-minute increments. You may be wondering, why would someone care about what is going on inside a candle? Well, as a discretionary order flow trader, how the market participants are reacting at certain prices can be very informative. Some traders look to see if there's heavy buying volume after a breakout. Other traders look to see if selling volume is coming into a resistance area. There are many scenarios that can be illustrated through a cluster chart. We won't get into specific strategies, but it is helpful to consider some of the use cases for this tool. It mainly comes down to market confirmation of an existing theory. There are 3 main cluster chart variations: double, single, and imbalance. What we are looking at here is double. It shows the bid volume on the left and the ask volume on the right. The double offers the most customizability on Optimus Flow. We will get more into the details about that later. This is a single cluster type. It shows the total volume at each tick, indiscriminate of whether it is buying or selling volume. This is the most similar to volume profile. It is essentially a volume profile for a single minute bar. Similar to the double type cluster, this is the imbalance. It is the exact same, except it shows where there are 3 times more buying or selling. As you can see here, there is 105 trades on the ask. That's 3 times more than 34 on the bid. The same can be said here. There's 59 trades on the ask and 243 on the bid. That is 3 times the amount of selling than there is buying. The same here, 2 contracts traded on the ask and 73 contracts traded on the bid. Now we will get into the details a little bit, breaking down the anatomy of the clusters so we all have a basic understanding of each component and what they mean. This is really crucial to building any sort of trading system or analysis. We need the basics first. So the bar in the middle of the cluster will either be red, green, or white. The red is just like a candle, whereby the close is below the open. The opposite is true for a green candle, where the close is above the open. We can also see here a white candle. This is a doji, whereby the close and the open are the same price. The only real difference between regular candles in this regard is that there are no wicks on either side of the body. These 2 columns in the double and imbalance cluster types are bid and ask volume, as I said previously. So the numbers on the left are market selling, and the numbers on the right are market buying. These are the actual trades that transacted at these specific prices. This information is factual. It is not orders that may execute. These are orders that have been executed. This is really the distinguishing difference between Level 2 and cluster charts. Level 2 advertises limit orders in the order book that may execute in the future, whereas clusters show orders that have executed. Another key difference is that these limit orders sitting here, they may get pulled or they may get added to at any time. The same cannot be said for cluster charts. These cannot change because they are executed orders in the past. To illustrate this point further, let's look at the order book on the left. At the top, there's 89 contracts at 2924. At any moment, 50 contracts could be added, it could be taken away, and that digit could change at any moment. Now let's look at the right. At the bottom of this main candle here, we have 34 contracts on the bid and 0 on the ask. This cannot change. So in the double or imbalanced cluster charts, there's sell volume on the left and buy volume on the right, aka bid and ask volume. This is where it gets a little tricky. The imbalances are calculated diagonally, so when the market was between 39925 and 399.275, 105 contracts were traded on the ask, and only 34 contracts were traded on the bid. This is at the bottom of that main 1 minute candle there. This is why there is an imbalance formed. Understanding imbalances is outside of the scope of this lesson, so all you really need to know in reading and understanding cluster charts is that there's a struggle between buyers and sellers, and that struggle is best illustrated diagonally. Before moving on, let's do a quick review of what we know so far about cluster charts. At the beginning, this information may have looked a bit daunting, but it's quite simple when broken down. We have the time frame on the top left, the color of the candle. We know that each candle is 1 minute of trading, so one cluster equals 1 minute. We know that the column on the left is the selling volume, and the volume on the right is buying volume. We also know that conceptually, we need to be aware of these volumes diagonally. We also know that each row of each column is 1 tick wide. On the ES, this is 25 cents. I'll let you digest that as we move on to the next part of the video, where I'll be walking through some of the additional features on Optimus Flow, as well as how to alter these settings visually to help you trade. So to change around some of the basic settings here, you're going to want to go to the bottom left and click on cluster. And then click on the gear icon. This will bring you into the main settings panel for the clusters. Right now, I have the settings very bare bones, just to teach the basics easier. But we can change the visuals a bit to your preference. As you can see, I can change it just from having the grid. I can remove the grid very easily. You can also add some color. You can color by volume, by trades, by delta, histogram, but for now we'll just go for volume. This gives a gradient view. So as you can see, the heavier volume is brighter and the lower volume is weaker. The next feature, which is a little bit more advanced, is to show the point of control of each candle. So we're going to want to open up the same panel, go down, show point of control. As you can see, that highlights where the most volume was traded out of this candle. This can be useful for some trading strategies, but useless for others. It all depends on what you want to look for when reading order flow. Another helpful highlighting method can be to show unfinished auctions. This is a bit more advanced, but basically it just shows you where there is a bottom or top of the candle that did not end with 0 contracts traded on one side. So I'll show you that now. You're going to want to go to the same panel, making sure the type is in balance. Click on the gear icon. From there, you're going to want to scroll down, highlight unfinished auctions. Click on that, exit out, and we can see here 85 and 24. This was highlighted because it's technically an unfinished auction. An auction should finish with 0 contracts traded on one side. There's an unfinished auction here, 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 and here. There's finished auction here and here. Some traders believe that price will revisit areas until zero contracts are traded on one side, indicating that there is no more selling or buying interest at those levels. The next feature is actually quite robust, so we'll get some of this information off the chart. We'll get rid of unfinished auctions. We'll get rid of point of control. And we'll come down here to this panel and click on double. Here you can see there's a lot of different data types available. This can really give you some idea of how robust this platform is. We can change the data on the left here, buying or selling, sorry, and on the right, buying. So we can change the sell volume information on the left to delta, or to sell trades, not just volume. Average size. You can filter the volume, that's another customizable setting. Average sell size. And we can do the same on the right. So that's everything I have for you now today. I hope you learned something. If you're interested in this platform, visit optimusfutures.com. It's completely free if you're an Optimus customer. So come check us out. Thanks.